Welcome everybody to a brand new video. In this video, I just want to thank you guys for 900 subscribers. A little while ago, I made a video celebrating 800 subscribers. It took me 4 months to go from 700 subscribers to 800. And now we're back again at 900, and this only took 2.5 months. For some reason, my channel is not just growing, but it's exponentially growing, and I don't really know why. I've said this in the 800 subscriber video. It seems that the less effort that I put into my YouTube channel, the more it grows, which makes absolutely no sense to me, but I'm completely fine with it. I get to put in less effort, have more fun with this, and still see something come out of it. So as I said in the 800 subscriber video, I'm not going to change up what I'm doing. I'm going to keep up this sort of relaxed way of doing things that I've been doing, I'd say, for the past maybe year. As I said, I'm not complaining because this is kind of how I want things to be. I want my channel to be more casual, nothing too serious, not focused on one thing necessarily. However, some people might question what I just said, saying that I'm contradicting myself because for the past, I'd say, maybe 1 to 2 months, the most videos that I've posted have been GTA event weeks, and I want to explain all this. I've kind of been looking for an excuse to mention why I'm only posting the GTA videos and every once in a while posting like a music review. I've been looking for an excuse to cover everything. However, I saw that we were close to 900 subscribers, so I figured I just put it off and explain then. So let's get into it. First and foremost, the biggest reason why I haven't been uploading nearly as frequently is because of time. And you might be wondering what is taking up so much of my time. And the answer to that is coding. Some of you may be surprised to hear that I am actually looking to completely change up my career. I was previously working as a barista, however, realizing that there's not much money in being a barista. When it comes to being a barista, not many doors really open. And I was pretty fed up of working really hard jobs for not that much pay. And considering that this whole coronavirus thing came around, most of my time I'm honestly just at home. I'm not currently working. I haven't worked for a very long time because of the lockdown. Currently, Ireland is actually the worst country for coronavirus in the entire world, so it's pretty bad at the moment. But seeing as I had so much free time, I eventually got pretty bored of sitting here and just playing video games and just doing that every single day. One day I went to Google and I can't remember exactly what I typed in, but I typed in most in-demand or highest paying skills that don't require college because I just don't really want to go to college. I feel like it's very unnecessary these days for a lot of fields. I'm not saying for all fields, of course. If you want to be a doctor, you have to go to college, and I very much endorse college if it is necessary. However, it's just not the type of route that I want to go down. So as I said, I went to Google and I typed that in, and I saw that at the top of the list was coding. And I did a little bit of research, found out how much coders get paid, and wanted to sort of dip my toes into it, see if it's something that I enjoy, and I did do that, and yes, it is something that I really enjoy doing. And when I got a little bit of a taste of it, realized that I do enjoy it to some extent, and I saw the ridiculous salaries that you can get, or at least ridiculous to me, because I'm quite frugal, I don't spend a lot of money, so when I saw the amount that software developers can make, I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to spend the rest of my days learning. So I've been doing that for the past 2.5 months, and the beginning was definitely the most difficult. It was really rocky because I didn't know much about the field, and granted, obviously I still don't. I've only been in this for like 2.5 months, but I didn't really know much about where I wanted to go. Initially, I signed up for a website called Skillshare where I decided to do a little bit of a trial just to see if that's a good website to go to learn coding, and I dipped my toes in some HTML and wasn't really understanding what I was doing. And by dipping my toes, I mean watching tutorials. And I was watching tutorial after tutorial after tutorial and following along with those tutorials. And for anybody who even has a little bit of knowledge about coding, you'll know that tutorials are not really that great to teach you how to learn coding, because coding is not about memorizing everything. It's about learning how to solve problems, how to unstick yourself. Whenever you have an issue that you can't resolve by yourself, it's about going to Google and figuring out and sifting through the different answers on Stack Overflow and finding the solution that you need for your specific situation. Obviously, for some people, tutorials work, but for me, it did not work whatsoever. I originally started with a little bit of HTML. I did like a half an hour course in that. By the end of the tutorial, I had absolutely no idea what I just learned. I forgot everything. When you would actually put me there alone by myself to code, I wouldn't be able to do anything. And then I thought, okay, maybe this isn't the route that I want to go. So I looked into Python because I heard that Python was a very beginner-friendly language. And I went through a 9-hour video tutorial on Skillshare trying to learn Python, following along with the projects, listening to what the guy has to say. And at the end of that 9-hour video course, again, I knew absolutely nothing. That's when I did a little bit more research, trying to figure out if I'm on the right path, and I found out that there's this thing called tutorial purgatory. It's a trap that a lot of beginners like myself fall into. They think that they can just watch a bunch of tutorials, gather all this wealth of knowledge, and be on their way and code the next Facebook, when in fact that is absolutely not the case for the majority of people. So I realized that I was doing something wrong, because after about 9 hours of video tutorials in total, I couldn't reproduce any sort of code by myself without watching a tutorial, which is obviously a big problem. It was a waste of time. Then I did more research and found out that Skillshare is not really a great place to learn how to code. But one of my friends, coincidentally, a few weeks before I wanted to start coding, actually messaged me telling me that he was getting into it himself. And originally I was just like, dude, I'm so happy for you, but I had no intentions of actually getting into it myself until, as I said, coincidentally, a few weeks after that, I wanted to get into the field, and I messaged him back and I said, hey, what resources did you use to learn coding? And he gave me a few different resources, one of those being Codecademy. And some people don't like Codecademy. They say it's not good for learning. However, for me, it has worked phenomenally. I decided to try out a trial for Codecademy and really, really loved it. I loved the way that they teach you in Codecademy. They explain the concept to you, and while they're explaining it, they make you implement it. They make you practice it. Then they might give you slightly guided projects to work on. And then sometimes they'll give you projects where they don't guide you at all. They just throw you into the deep end and say, if you don't know how to do something, Google it. Which as a result has helped me retain knowledge about coding so much more than Skillshare. Because at the end of a 9-hour session on Skillshare, I learned nothing. A 9-hour session in Codecademy, I will have things locked into my brain. I will know how to use those things and not necessarily memorize them, but have them kind of in my library. And when I need to pull them out, I at least remember the concept and how that worked. And if I'm still a little bit stuck, I might just go to Google just to kind of refresh me really quick and then go back to my project and continue working. Now, of course, when it comes to coding, there isn't just one specific route to go down. There are plenty of different options you can take when it comes to coding. And this is one of the things that I struggled with a lot at the beginning. I didn't know where I should go. Should I start with front end? Should I go back end? Should I try to go full stack? Should I try and learn C++, C#, Python, JavaScript? Which language should I go for? And I came across this video from a YouTube channel called Code Drip by Aaron Jack, who is a YouTuber that I actually watch from time to time now because his videos are just excellent. I watched this video from him, the fastest way to become a software developer. And after I watched this incredible video, if he somehow stumbles across this video, thank you so much, because you just cleared up so much headache that I had as a beginner. But after I watched that absolutely fantastic video, I basically had a roadmap of what I should do if I want to become a software developer. Initially, I tried to learn Python and do a little bit of back end, but I didn't enjoy it as much. And then I realized that front end is where I want to begin. I want to create websites, interactive websites, and whatever else comes with front end. At the moment, I'm really focused on websites, landing pages, etc. I said etc. because I don't have any more examples. But essentially in that video, he lays out what you need to become a front end software developer, or at least get into the industry as a junior developer. I love because in that video, he gives exact details about what you need. He said, To become a front-end software developer, to get that first job, you need HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a framework like React or Angular, and then after that, once you've become competent in those languages and concepts, work on your portfolio, make some landing pages that you can present to an employer and go job hunting. You're not going to feel ready, but that's okay. Just go for it anyway. Apply for every job. Whether it's a senior position, they require 10 years of experience and you have 0, it doesn't matter. Every developer job out there, apply for it because you don't know what you're going to land. You might get lucky. And if you do get the first job and you stick around for long enough and you build that experience, they hold on to you, it is so much easier to get your second job. But you know, that's down the road. I'm not going to focus on that right now because obviously I'm thinking about getting my first job. Now that I had this knowledge and this general path of the direction that I should be going in to eventually land my first job and what exactly I should learn, I needed some sort of service that could supplement that could help me learn these things. And of course, as I said earlier, I went to Codecademy. And initially I was a little bit skeptical about Codecademy because I did some research and some people were saying that it's only really good for beginners. It's not that great for intermediate topics. People were saying that it's not enough to get you a job, and that kind of discouraged me a little bit, but I think those reviews and those thoughts came out a while ago because I feel like Codecademy, maybe in recent times, released a feature on their service that is just invaluable. I don't know exactly when they implemented this or if they had it the entire time, but this is exactly what I was looking for. On their website, they have this thing called career paths, and you can specifically pick where you want to go. You give them details about what you're looking to do in programming, whether you want to work back-end or front-end, and a myriad of other important factors. It's kind of like a survey that they run. And then they build a career path for you that can help you with what you're trying to achieve. So what I ended up getting was the front-end engineering career path, and they have a little description section, which I'm going to read off to you guys, which is just amazing. When I read this, I was like, this is what I need. I need to complete this course, which is going to take a very long time. It's a 350-hour course, or at least that's what it's estimated to be. So it's definitely not something that you can just learn over the weekend and go get a job. It's something that's going to take you multiple months depending on how much you learn every single day. But after I read the description to this career path, I was absolutely sold. I signed up for a 1-year membership and said I'm diving in with both feet into this because this is what's going to land me that first job. The reason I dove in with both feet is because I knew that the way they teach coding works for me personally. I know that there might be other services that are better, like Team Treehouse, for example. I did hear about that, and maybe at some point I'll give them a shot. I heard that Udemy courses can be somewhat useful, but for me, Codecademy really worked, so I decided to stick with it. But anyway, the description here says, welcome to the front-end engineering career path. If you want to make beautiful interactive websites, start a new career, or improve your skills, you've come to the right place. This path starts from the very basics, so you don't need to know anything to start. We'll give you everything you need to know to apply for an entry-level job in front-end engineering, from languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, to frameworks like React and Redux, to interview skills like whiteboarding and data structures. And what was a huge bonus for me after I read that off is not only will they teach you coding, but they will also teach you about the interview process, how to actually get a job after you learn these things, which is just fantastic. I believe for my yearly subscription, I paid €215, and to me, considering the value that I'm receiving from this, that is just a bargain. Are there better deals out there? I'm sure there are, but for me, this is the one that worked. Anyway, enough with the details. I've been focusing on this course for the last 2.5 months, and I am decently competent in HTML and CSS. I am almost finished the CSS portion of the course, and I'll be moving into JavaScript, which is where the meat and potatoes really are. Along the way, not only have I been coding on the Codecademy website, but I've also been working on personal projects to make sure that the skills that I learn, I don't forget, and I actually apply them so that they can remain in here. It's a wonderful service, and I'm really, really happy that I decided to go for this. I feel very confident that when I finish this course, hell, I probably won't even finish the course by the time I actually apply for a job. I might just go for it early. But I feel very confident that by the time I finish this course, I will be ready to apply for jobs. I might not feel like I'm ready, but I'm going to be doing it regardless. So revolving back to what I was talking about before we got into the whole coding side of this video, this is the reason why I haven't been focusing on YouTube. It hasn't been my priority, because this is what I want to do with my life. At least for now. I'm not sure if one day I'll grow out of coding and not want to do it anymore, but right now this is where I want to take my life. This is the field that I want to go into. I am already super invested in it, and I don't feel any sort of burnout anytime soon or anything like that. I've been pacing myself accordingly, making sure to trust the process. If I feel stuck, not to get too frustrated with it, just understand that this is what comes with trying to learn a new skill. Sometimes you're going to face some really difficult times. I actually recently overcame a huge roadblock that I had. I was working on a project that took me about a week and a half to complete, which was the longest that any project had taken me up to that point, specifically because I got insanely stuck with it. I got very, very bogged down. The project required me to make a static web page with HTML and CSS and specifically implement the flex property. In CSS, you can create a piece of code that says display flex, and there are other details that I won't go into, but I had to apply those skills that I learned, and that was very, very confusing for me. But eventually, through grit and determination, I figured things out. I completed the entire project, and the website looked really, really good, and it was so satisfying to be able to say that I finished it and that I persevered through and I didn't give up. I felt really good about myself because throughout my research, I found out that that is what coding is about. When you're a developer, there are times where you're going to be stuck on a problem and you just can't figure it out. But then at some point, you get that breakthrough where you finally get it and you're able to move on. I felt like I was gathering real coding experience, not just following along with a tutorial, but actually doing the work that real software developers have to do. But anyway, I'm going to try and wrap up this whole coding section because I went on a huge tangent about it. I'm just really, really into it. It's kind of taken over my life for the past few months. But as I said, this is the reason why YouTube is a little bit on the back burner for me. Will I come back to YouTube and do it as regularly as I was before? I'm very sure I will, because my passion for YouTube has not disappeared one bit. I still love doing it. It's just right now I'm kind of focused on priorities because I am 20 years old. I'm looking to make my 20s really, really good. I'm hoping that eventually I can move out because currently I still live with my mother. I told her that the moment I get a programming job, I'm moving out. And that is actually my plan. If I do manage to land a job and I feel confident that they're going to hold on to me, they're not just going to get rid of me after a 3-month probation, I am considering just moving out into my own place. And if that were to happen, I'm hoping that 1 to 2 years down the road, I will be moving to Canada. I'm sure you could figure out why I want to move to Canada. That's not the only reason, but it's a big one. But yeah, I hope you guys can understand that that is the reason why I'm not uploading as frequently. I hope you guys can understand that I am trying to move forward with my life, and my entire life doesn't revolve around YouTube. But trust me, at some point I will get back on that horse and start pumping out videos more consistently. It's just when I actually have the time to do that, because at the moment I don't. A big chunk of my day is spent coding, and when I'm not actually coding, I'm watching coding YouTubers to get even more of an insight of how this field works. I'm just really infatuated with it at this point, and I have a good feeling that my future is going to be bright. I have no doubt in my mind that I am going to do this. No matter how hard it gets, I will get through it, even if it takes an entire year. But yeah, let's get back to the main topic of this video. Thank you so much for 900 subscribers. I mean, that is just crazy to me. I didn't think I was going to reach it so quickly, and now we've got the final stretch. We've got the final 10% to get to 1,000. At some point, I do want to do something special, whether that would be a giveaway or something like that. But of course, funds are kind of tight at the moment. I obviously don't have a job, and I'm just spending my time trying to work towards that. Don't hold your breath or anything like that, but things will get better. Actually, one of my main priorities when I do get a job is not just to move out, but also to upgrade my equipment. I want to upgrade some components in my PC, and I also want to get a better camera because I feel like that is the weakest part of my videos now. It's weird. Every time I upgrade something about my videos, I find something that isn't up to snuff, isn't as good as the rest of my equipment. I'm like, I should probably push that up a little bit. Problem with that is that I actually want to get like a proper camera and maybe link that up with the Elgato Cam Link so that I can use it as a webcam, but the cheapest ones I was able to find are a good few $100s, and I don't really want to get the cheap ones. I want to get a really good camera, maybe in the 500 to 600 range, and I guess I could dip into my savings and buy myself a camera right now if I wanted to. However, I kind of want to hold on to money at the moment. I'm sure you guys understand why. I'd rather just be safe than sorry. I don't want to spend money on a camera and then realize that something came up and I can't afford to pay for it. So I will wait on that at least until I get my first programming job. I'm going to try wrap things up now. I understand that this video was more about me talking about myself and coding rather than it was about the milestone that we just hit, but I don't really know what else I can say except thank you. It really does mean a lot to me, and if you guys don't believe me, I took time out of my schedule to make this video even though I put YouTube on the back burner for a little bit. But seriously, this was that important. I felt like I should come out of hibernation and actually comment on this. This is really cool. It's fucking awesome. I never expected to get to this point, and you know, let's just go further. Let's see how far this can go. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, because a lot of my personal journey when it comes to, you know, coding and all this stuff is something that I tend to do alone. And it's nice to be able to put some of my time into a passion project like YouTube that actually sees some sort of reception from real people. It almost keeps me grounded in a way. It's almost like therapy. So I appreciate that. At the very worst, my YouTube is a therapy session. So thank you. You guys are my counselors. But yeah, once again, thank you for 900 subscribers, and I am going to wrap this video up here. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you smack the like button. If you want to stay up to date with my content, please be sure to subscribe. I'll have my last video in the corner. If you haven't checked that out already, definitely make sure to check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.